we're in election season. And during election season, they got us choosing between two evils. And whenever you choose between two evils, it makes you the trick. It makes you the trick. And so today we're looking at not only that, we're looking at the whole process, and we're seeing that whenever they do afford us some rights, like they may get us to fight in their war and promise us freedom. So they did. They promised us 40 acres and a mule. But then what happens? Then an adverse nemesis president takes over, and they take away what was promised to you every time. When I think they called it the first Jim Crow. Before the first Jim Crow, there was a lot of people, blacks elected to Congress and all of that. But what happened? Then the Democrats and Republicans got together and reversed the gains that were made. And so we then experienced 100 years of lynching every week. Somebody else was lynched for 100 years. So whenever you vote, what you're doing is consenting to the violence, oppression, and terrorism. Vote is an acronym for violence, oppression, and terrorism every day. And that's what you've been getting through the process. So we look at any gain that was promised to you is always taken away or is gutted out, and only punishment remains. And we see that in the election process, the presidents tried to win the swayable white vote. So what did they do? They decided to be hard on blacks. And what happened in the war on drugs? There was not even a problem with crack when Nixon first and Reagan first coined the phrase and put it out. And what do we find? We find that the CIA was making money getting drugs from South America and taking it straight to Compton and then criminalizing. And this is how they bring you back in slavery. Every national leader I've heard, they're talking about when slavery was. Slavery never ended. You're still there. Now they may call it a caste system now. They may call it a caste system. And when they call it a caste system, you understand it's still slavery, because what they did was they then put about 50,000 hindrances to you. 50,000 hindrances. So let's say if they can get you to, if they can criminalize you, and it's very easy to criminalize you, it's just study what you do and make that illegal and not really tell you much about that. Remember, they criminalized you and then gave you a Democratic president that you say you love, and in his administration there was even more incarceration than in adverse presidents. And so that's what they give you. So you cannot say that anything you do politically other than uprise and revolt can ever bring you anything close to what you consider justice. You will never get equality, because this is a capitalistic empire that feeds off exploitation. It can't give you equality. They can't give it to you. Malcolm said that. That's why they give you panaceas and give you tokens and put a black here and a black there. But you know, Obama didn't do anything for you. King was yelling, I have a dream, while Obama was saying, I have drones. They were launching drones while King was launching a dream that turned into a nightmare. And then remember what he said before he died. He says, we're coming to get our check. And then his last speech was talking about the hells of America. So we have to ask ourselves, is this sane to participate in a process that always finds a way to eliminate you out the process? Now here we go with this. I like mask wearing because I don't have to deal with the spittle. But the reality is, they should be promoting how to beef up your immunity if they cared about you. Now we're going to show you and teach you about, what's her name? Cami Benton. Cami Benton is a immunologist who immunized herself and her child and had all kind of problems and started raising questions, and then they get the stone wall because they want you to go along with the okie doke. So we want you to look into that. We're going to put some links in so you can study, because right now you have to remember the syphilis study, the Tuskegee experiment. You have to ask yourself, what is the question? The question is called the Negro question. What is the Negro question? The Negro question was, how can we eliminate Negroes from the earth? Why? Because they're genetically recessive. They're genetically recessive. What does that mean? It means they can get fucked out of existence. It means they're genetically recessive. So the only way they can boost up white supremacy is to kill everything else that's not capitalism. And that's what they do. That's what you see all over the world. I know a lot of you you have great ideas for how to benefit the world. But don't you know, if you're trying to help black people, then the CIA and other ABC boys and FBI and ABC boys are targeting you. You just have to realize that if you want to initiate something really good, you're going to be a target, and you have to prepare for that. Now, we have you up on the mountain because these are interesting days, and the constellations are aligning, and they're in such a formation that it hasn't been in since the early 1600s. And so we do acknowledge and give thanks to the cosmos, and we give acknowledgement to our ancestors to continue to guide us on the rightful path as we attempt to venerate and vindicate their sacrifices. And if this is a prison planet, to begin to use our divine powers to overcome what we